me that we have to persevere through things. So when I saw him come in, I was like, oh, everybody kept calling me today, y'all still want to have it, or y'all still want to have it? And I thought to myself, well, I don't know about y'all, but I'm here, coach. I don't know. I don't know what they think we still want to have. But introduce yourself and give people a little background so we know where you're going with this and how we can definitely be inspired.
All right. Well, my name is Kenny Willis. Everybody calls me Kenny, Big Kenny, Coach Kenny. I'm born in Baltimore. I'm born and raised in Turner Station. So people in the city say we're not from Baltimore. It's whatever. But I grew up out Turner Station, born and raised. I've lived in the city probably the last 25 years. So I probably lived in the city probably equally as much as I lived out there. So I'm 52 now. So, but I have what's called a podcast. It's kind of a new thing. Podcast popping up everywhere. I'm a sports fan, sports lover, pretty much all my life. I'm probably adopted because nobody in my family was like into sports like that. So that was kind of my thing. So sports kind of was my outlet. As a kid, for the first 9-10 years, I was the only child. So I would just kind of watch sports or watch TV kind of helped bring me up. So I watched a lot of sports. It didn't matter what it was. It was competition that I was into it. So I would watch bowling, tennis, golf, all the stuff that most people would turn the channel on. I would be tuned into it.
So when the Olympics came, that must have been good green because the Olympics are so
I watched it all. I watched it all. And I was really familiar with all the athletes, like growing up. So I could talk as a little kid. I could talk with grown-ups, about the guys that were popular in athletics at the time, during the 70s and early 80s when I was a younger guy. So the way the podcast came about, I talked about doing something like this years ago before they even called podcast. Me and a group of my friends, because we always talk sports. So the thing was we were going to get together, we all buy these cameras and microphones and all that stuff and record ourselves. Like some kind of format, something like this. Just talk about whatever the topic of the day was. This is probably 10, 11 years ago. And we sat down, we had meetings about it. It never kind of came to fruition. And we just kept talking about it over the years. Another friend of mine that was part of that initial group, he started a blog, and he was blogging basically about boxing. And so with that, he would do little interviews, kind of using like his laptop and stuff like that, the phone line, the old way of doing it. So his biggest interview, and one that I sat on with, he had Larry Holmes, which was a former heavyweight champion. Larry Holmes was very popular in the late 70s into the 80s. So I didn't get to talk to him just because of the setup we had, but I was on the call, so I was actually listening to the heavyweight champion talk, which was big for me. He was somebody that I really looked up to, and somebody that I'm going to try to get on my own podcast. So, especially since I have a connection to him. Like my friend can call him right now. He's been to his house and everything. So, we got that connection, but he did his podcast first. And he would have me and a couple other guys on. We would talk sports first. And then, like during the pandemic, he started going over more political. So we would talk. I don't mind talking politics. I don't particularly care to do it, but I'll do it. And during the pandemic, we didn't have anything to do anyway. So we would get on like Friday nights or something, and we just talk. We were doing it for a couple hours and talking. We would do like Facebook Live and stuff like that. So we had people watching. So we interacted with the audience as well. So it was fun, but it kind of got my juices flowing and wanted to do my own thing. And that same guy, we procrastinate. We gonna take steps. So I'm gonna buy the Zoom software. Well, I'm gonna get a Zoom subscription. But I'm gonna do the podcast down the road. That's my thinking. So as I'm trying to set it up same day I bought it, I'm trying to set it up. And the same guy, he was like, well, let's just do it live tonight. Just to see how it works. I'm gonna help you set it up, and then let's go live tonight and see what happens. We went live that night. We had some feedback. We had people watching, and we were doing every week. I started using Zoom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And we were on Facebook Live, you know, but from that one, just really kind of pushing me. Because I just wanted to see if this stuff worked or how it worked. He said, no, we're just going to do a show tonight. And we did it, and we were going every week, and we had a really good following. It was my show, but I had like a group of guys that would come on with me. We would talk about whatever the topic was for the week.
What was the show called?
It's still called the Sports Mix. The Sports Mix.
Okay.
So I've had Mark on my show, and you know, it's funny with Mark that we never met until I met him here. And y'all had the very first Motivating Mondays. That's when we actually first met. And we've been friends on social media for years, so we interact that way. You know, so he came onto my show not really knowing me. Just, I guess, he felt comfortable with the stuff I was saying on social media. Like, I wasn't saying nothing crazy, nothing with his brand, not, you know, so he said, well, Kenny, I guess Kenny's good. So he came on with me, and we had a pretty good show that night. So I've been doing it. I started it in 2021, October of 2021. So we're coming up on 2 years this October that I've been doing the live shows and recording. So right now I've been doing a lot of recording stuff and posting it on my page because there's not a lot really going on in sports. There's not a lot of baseball fans that follow me. So we don't really talk about baseball, but I'm a baseball fan. I watch. The Warriors are doing really well. I like football's coming up. So it's going to be a lot going on with the Ravens. There's a lot of excitement in town about the Ravens. You know, we had a lot to talk about with Lamar Jackson. Was he going to get paid? Was he not going to get paid? All of the backlash that he was getting, the negative comments that people said about him. He didn't have an agent. His mom was ruining his career. All the stuff that people said about him. As a sports fan, I knew he was going to get his money. If he didn't get it here, he was going to get it somewhere. Because he plays the premier position in football. Quarterbacks are going to get their money. And he wins. He's a winner. I knew he was going to get paid. So it wasn't a matter of was he going to be paid. I was just looking at how much. Were they going to, were the Ravens going to do what they needed to do to keep him? You got to think, Lamar Jackson just turned 25, 26 years old. He's still a young guy. He's a young guy, so, you know, it would be, in my opinion, it always would have been foolish for the Ravens when it said, we let them go, that we don't want to pay them that kind of money, and we start over. Then you back to square zero, because you don't know what you're going to get next. So we had a lot to talk about with Lamar Jackson. Last year, Deion Sanders was big, what he was doing with HBCUs, with sports. So we had a lot of feedback with that. I have, in my contacts, I have a couple guys I work with that played high-level college football. So I'm able to reach out to them, to have them come on the show, just to give that expert opinion. They've been in the trenches, they kind of know what that grind is like. I've also had a Baltimore legend, one of my favorite basketball players, Reggie Williams, who went to Dunbar High School, of course, Georgetown University, played some years in the NBA. He was on my show, and great interview with him. So I got some things that I'm working on, like current NBA player Rudy Gay is a guy that I coached when he was 11, 12 years old. He committed to coming on. It's just a matter of catching him.
Wow, because like I said, I'm not into sports, but certain things catch my interest. One of the things that caught my interest was the draft. I didn't even pay attention until I actually saw all the young kids getting drafted. I didn't even never heard of the twins. You know, when I saw the draft, I saw these two black.
You talking about the NBA draft?
Yeah. I think that was, to me, it's crazy because it wasn't, I'm not a sports, but it wasn't brought to my attention how long Because each one of those players, when they got up, they showed them when they were kids.
Right, right.
They had basketballs in their hands and stuff like that. I'm like, wow, so you mean to tell me at the age of 2 or 3, you're trying to decide at the age when, probably 19, 20,
Yeah.
that you're going to be an NBA player.
I was in the gym yesterday watching some kids play. I'm sure some of them got dreams of one day being in that NBA draft. And I've been coaching for years, so it started young. You know, people see, kids see, even when I was a kid, you know, we watched the players playing college and pro. And we dreamed of wanting to be in those seats one day. I think what gets lost a lot of times when you see a professional, you see the finished product. A lot of people don't see the work that it took to actually get to that point.
Right.
You know, like Steph Curry is real popular right now amongst the younger kids. That he shoot threes and we make it look easy.
Right.
But he didn't walk in the gym to shoot 3-pointers. Like he started when he probably couldn't even make a basket.
Correct.
In just time and effort and practice, and year after year after year, putting that work in. And now he's one of the best in the world. But you just don't wake up and do that. You have to actually work at it.
One of the controversies that even when I went to University of Maryland College Park, so I went there with Buck Williams, Albert King, Ernie Graham, and all those. But we had a person that wrote a paper. So during that time, they had a controversy saying that if you didn't make good grades, you weren't able to play. So the young lady, her argument was that if somebody, that's all they wanted to do was play basketball, she felt like it was a way to try to get you not to reach your true potential. And I think, again, Maryland did adopt the rule that the ball players had to have a certain level to play. So I kind of understood her point because she's saying, if these inner city youth that you went and got from these inner city schools were never really academically prepared for big universities, then you get them here and you try to hold them back because they're not academically prepared. When the only reason you went and got them is because they was academically prepared. And the only reason you have them here is that the majority of schools were not identified by their academic status. They were identified by the athletes who went to these particular schools. So that's when you heard about these great schools because of the athletes that were there.
That's not a mistake also. When you see college basketball, college athletics is a business. It's a business first.
That's what I thought.
So you hear they talk about grades, all that stuff is good. But the bottom line is winning and generating money. You pass and you get a degree along the way, and so good, so big. But these coaches that's making all this money, that's coming after these kids, they got a job on the line.
Right.
And if you're not winning, and we pay you all this money, and most times you realize, you know, college coaches are the highest paid in the state. So, you know, University of Maryland with the state system, the college basketball coach and the football coach, they're the highest paid. They make more than the government. They're the highest paid state employees in the state of Maryland. And it's probably like that in every other with the state universities. The private universities don't have the same scrutiny where you know, they fall under that well. Because I've heard it here. I've heard it here talking about, you know, this coach makes more than the governor or, you know, whatever the salary is. But, like, you're here to talk about grades, and we talk about grades a lot. But for those guys, it's a business. And the business is winning. So if I'm not winning, I'll find somebody else, regardless of what your situation is. If you're not helping me on the basketball court, I'll get
So what I'm saying, I think a lot of these young people can help on the basketball court. But like you said, do you believe, like, say, like, you have a person that's a good player, but his academics are not there. So do you think they should still allow him to play?
It depends on how good he is.
Okay. So how good?
If he Michael Jordan good, they're gonna figure out a way.
Okay.
But if he
Average,
just
very
named
good.
up a guy good,
Yeah.
you'll find another one of them.
Right,
And
right.
get somebody else. Good luck at your next time.
And then another controversy, or what I would say a conversation. You mentioned Steph Curry, right? So someone was saying to me, if LeBron James did not win the NBA, whatever that championship, but yet they still call him King James. When Steph Curry, he won, but they still look at LeBron James as, you know, like if he was the player. But they say, wait a minute, that's not really fair because if Steph Curry is the winning team, LeBron, you lost. But you walking around like you still champ.
Yeah, but I mean, his name is LeBron James. How easy was it for marketing? King James. I mean, that's all marketing.
Okay.
That's all about the dollar with that. I don't really pay too much attention to him calling himself a king or people call. I don't really care because the winner is the winner. You know, and we know Steph Curry. He beat LeBron like 3 times in the championship. So that's all marketing. I don't really get too much into that. When you look at, like we got this thing in the NBA where they want to crown one guy like the best player in the world.
Right.
Personally, I think it's crazy, but
All great
because these
players.
guys are so good, you know, and you have to set yourself so far apart from everybody else to be considered the king. You know, when we grew up, it was Dr. J at first. He was the first person that I kind of knew that he was a big superstar. Even before I was a basketball fan, I knew who he was.
Okay.
Just from seeing him on TV, commercials and stuff like that. But then Magic Johnson. Magic had Larry Bird, so it was kind of those two guys back and forth. And then Michael Jordan came and kind of set himself apart from everybody. You know, so it was kind of Michael Jordan and everybody else. And it wasn't like these other guys weren't good. It's just that he was just that much better. So, and I'm a Michael Jordan fan, so one of the things I've always said in the last few years, he probably was one of the best things and the worst things to happen to sports. Because, especially with basketball, which is a team game, but he was so good, he kind of individualized it. So it always became about what he was doing versus what the other people were doing. And so when the league marketed that, so we saw all the commercials, we saw Michael Jordan was everywhere for all those years he played. Even now he's still selling sneakers like he's still playing.
Right.
So his superstar is like through the roof. But we're a copycat. So we're trying to find the next. We gotta find the next Michael
You don't
Jordan.
think it was Kobe Bryant?
No. He was good. But
LeBron James?
no. None of them guys are at the level of Michael Jordan. All these guys are really good players. You know what I'm saying? Don't mistake that. But you have to look at what, because you're not a basketball fan, so I'm gonna say this in layman of terms as I can say it. The game was played so much different before Michael Jordan took off. Before he came, everybody wanted a 7-footer. We wanted to throw it inside to the big guy and let everything else work off him. Michael Jordan came, he was the first guy really under 6'6", he's about 6'6", 225, 230 pounds, to dominate the game like that. So he changed the way the game was played. It went from being played inside out to being played outside in. So the game is played the way it is now a lot because of how he played. More individual, less, because he could kind of get stuff done on his own. Where, so since Michael Jordan, we've had Kobe Bryant, we've had LeBron, Kevin Durant. We've had some guys that are individual, they can score, they can do a lot of things. But it all started with Michael. It all started with Michael Jordan. The way we play, why we play the game the way we do now, it started with Michael Jordan.
So when you saw the draft, I'm sure you watched the draft. So who of all of those young draft people stood out for you?
For me, I always take the wait and see because there's so much hype put on these kids. And a lot of them now, maybe play 1 year of college. But you got the kid that was the #1 pick was from France. So he's from France. They've been talking about him for like 3 years. He's like 7'4", very skilled, you know. So they saying he will be like the next LeBron type, the kid that kind of come right out of high school and just kind of take off. So he gonna have a lot of pressure on him to live up to the hype that they built around him. But again, we know with this media, they can build you up. As soon as you're not living up to it, they will cut your knees. So I don't really get into the hype of how they hype the athletes up. I kind of watch and see. I was like that with LeBron. Just kind of because he had so much hype coming out of high school. I said he can't be this good. You talking about he can come right to the NBA and just he can't be that good. And he made me believe it. He was really good right out of high school, really good, and then he became he's better, great.
Yeah, because like I said, it's commercialism. Because again, what's stuck in my mind, I hate to say it, was these two twins. I thought that was just, it's just like something about that.
Yeah.
You two brothers, and you both got drafted. And I don't know, was they drafted on the same team or
different teams? But I think one pick behind each other. Right. They were like one win, maybe 5, the other one 6.
Yeah. Like so that I thought was interesting. And then, like I said, I thought it was interesting as I watched it, the stories behind all those young men that they started, all of them started so young. Yeah. They had the picture with the action basketball in their hands saying, hey, this is where I'm going, my future. And the family that was around them. That's interesting too, is that when you look at sports, and even like you said, a Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, the people that have to be around them to help them get to that point in their lives. Because you're a little kid. So that means somebody has been getting up, taking you every day, paying all that money, staying focused, staying focused, staying focused, and then, like I said, 1 year college, staying focused, and then all of a sudden you grab it.
Yeah, it's not easy. You got to think too, a lot of these country kids come from neighborhoods like this, they don't have a lot. Right. Parents don't have, some of them probably don't have cars. So, you got family that's pitching in, you got coaches that, running kids around. I know when I was a coach, when I coached recreation kids, I was a taxi driver, I was feeding, I put clothes on sometimes. So you wear many hats, and then you don't realize how important you are to these kids. Like these kids now that I coach that's in their 30s, that talk to me like they're still 12, and they tell me how much they appreciate what I did for them. Mm-hmm. Some of these kids are the ones I didn't even get to pay attention to. Wow. Kind of hard head, running around over these. Some of these guys are family men now, they giving back coaching, doing it. So it's good to see, but sometimes it's thankless, to give you time like that. Because we want that instant gratification. We want to know that at least we make a difference for somebody. Right. Sometimes you won't know until 15, 20 years later.
Well, also what I noticed, like you said, it's a business. I like the direction, and like you said, it can be commercialized, that LeBron James opened up a school into more business opportunities. So it seems like the sports industry, they get a little bit smarter with how they market themselves and promote themselves to not just be that athlete. Again, when Kobe Bryant, just before he died, was able to highlight women's basketball more because his daughter was going in that direction. They have a clothing line out. So it seems like the industry is being a little bit more swervy. Even when you mentioned about Jackson, right? I heard that his mother is his manager. And then, like you said, if he's holding out, it's because the people around him are educating him to say, look, back in the day when somebody said $1 million, $2 million, whatever, yeah, they got us. Because all of the players that you see that was great, and living good lifestyles is because we weren't exposed to those lifestyles. So then when you went and see other athletes, especially white athletes, minority athletes, the type of money they were getting, the type of lifestyles, the type of information they get. Because if you get hurt, you might look good today, but if you get hurt, what's your guarantee going down the line after you sacrifice? So that whole industry, to me, when I see it from afar, people are educating themselves, like you said, not just about the sport, but the industry of what they're doing and trying to get a better deal as minority people in the industry.
Ron is a great example of God taking advantage of his opportunities. Because he came right out of high school and he was able to bring a group of his friends along with him. But they all wasn't on the basketball players. But he was able to put them with people that were his advisors in the beginning, put them around those guys, and they learned the business. And one of his best friends, Rich Paul, is probably the top basketball agent in sports right now. And that's one of his friends that he grew up with. And he learned by LeBron putting him in place. You get with whoever the agent was, and you learn the business, learn negotiating contracts, learn how to get people on your team. And he learned all of that. Right now, he's probably the top agent in the NBA for sure. But had he not had LeBron, he might have been a whole lot tougher for him to get to that. But so LeBron laid the blueprint. So you see a lot of guys that's coming behind him, kind of looking at what he did, bringing in, putting his friends in position. Because before that, if a guy made it, the friends around him was looking for a handout. Give me a couple of dollars, and they might mess it up doing some dumb stuff. So what LeBron did, and maybe probably people did it before him, but he's probably the biggest name, the most notable, was he was able to just put guys in position. Like he took guys that he grew up with that was hungry and wanted something. He said, all right, I'm going to give you an opportunity. And a lot of times, give them the opportunity, it's up to them to take advantage of it. Because I can't give you the opportunity and then do the work for you too. So he put these guys in place, gave them the opportunity, and he took advantage of it. And he's just done some great things just based off of, he's the star, he's the one that brings the money to the table. But because of his influence, he was able to put, people in position.
People were able to take the opportunity.
But I think too, saying that was one of the reasons why I like to come here, on Mondays. Because, especially in the first few weeks when I was coming consistently, he was getting that feeling like everybody just wanted to grow and want to help each other.
Yeah.
You real good about that, just promoting people. You don't know me, but you talk about me and what I was doing a few times that I've been here. So, I'm appreciative just to have the opportunity to sit here. So but that's what we got to get back to. We got to really get back to helping each other get where we need to get, instead of, I got mine. What you gonna do?
And Coach, one of the things that we got to get back to, like you said, knowing each other. Because like I said, I see you, but I didn't know you better. And I like the fact that when you started off saying, we just did it, I tell my group all the time, I say, let's just do it.
Right.
Because one thing that George Harrison, I always got to give him his props. He says this term all the time. He says it's the start that stops us. And people don't want to believe that you don't even want to start anything. You're not going to achieve it. And when I look at sports, and people say this, and it's a term that we know is true. Life is a game, right? So if we think that life is a game, then why are we not playing it like a game, right? The people that you see, the Kurtz, Akasa, or whoever you see here, is why I had to do a team, the Mark Clarks. I always knew